The Louisiana Legislature is a two-chamber body made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Bills have to go before the House and the Senate, and we make laws. They're introduced as bills, and later on, if we pass them, they go up to the governor, and if he signs them, they become law. If he doesn't sign them by a certain date, they still become law. And it's a very interesting body because we make laws that affect every aspect of life. We make laws on what the speed limit will be. We make laws on what schools will require, how long you will have to stay in school, how many hours you will go to school every day, whether we will require physical activity. There was bills proposed last year that actually talked about how much physical activity a child should have during their school day. We make criminal laws, we make civil laws, criminal meaning whether something will be a crime or not. If it is a crime, how much penalty should be imposed or how little penalty should be imposed. We make civil laws regarding anything from car accidents to your civil liberties that you enjoy. And I know a lot of students believe that the law is boring or what we do in the legislature may be boring, but I tell them, I invite them down and say, come take a look at what we're doing. And Excellence Academy has been great at doing one thing, even before it was founded under their troops, scout troops, was bringing the students down and letting them see what actually happens in the legislature on a day when we are enacting laws that affect them. Reapportionment is very important. Reapportionment means every 10 years, the legislature reapportions judicial districts, that's judges, and where they will be elected from. We reapportion our state seats, our House of Representatives, and our Senate seats. And we also reapportion the congressional seats. What that means is this. Big word with a small meaning, but very big and important. We determine how many voters will sit in each district to elect those who are running for office. And we also have to make sure, because of federal law, that we're not suppressing the vote of minorities. What does that mean? We're not trying to, in how we draw the districts, to basically dilute the vote of minorities in Louisiana. And so that's what reapportionment is. And a lot of people say, why is it important? Because years ago, minorities were never elected. And so reapportionment laws came into effect to make sure that minorities had districts where they could actually elect someone that looks like them, that thought like them, and that had an important view on things. The census is conducted by the United States of America, by the federal government. It counts every citizen in the United States. A lot of people tend to ignore the census when it comes to their home, and so the federal government has implemented census counters that go out into communities and try to encourage the return of those census forms. It's very important because what the census shows us is how many people are located in the United States, more importantly to Louisiana, how many people are actually residents of Louisiana, where they live, where minorities live, where non-minorities live, and what we have to do is take that census and use it in reapportionment, that big word with a small meaning but big importance, to determine how we draw your districts and who you will elect. Legislative session is so busy. For most young folks, they would probably love it. We are moving at a fast pace, retaining a lot of information. Some sessions over 1,500 bills are filed, which means that at some point you have to know that bill, know when it's coming to you. They pass through committee first, and so we sit on different committees. Myself, I sit on health and welfare, agriculture, because it's important. It's an important business here in the state of Louisiana, but more importantly in Northeast Louisiana. And commerce. Commerce deals with all of the banking legislation, which becomes very important too for us because I want to make sure that people in my district have a fair chance at how they bank and if they're able to receive loans. And so I sit on those three committees. We vet bills and discuss bills that are related to those three issues. And if we pass it out of committee, then it goes to the floor. If the bill dies in committee, which means we voted as a failed bill, then it never goes to the House floor. Session varies. In even number of years, in odd number of years, we have a long session. In even number of years, we have what you call a fiscal session, which means although we can legislate other areas, we're limited in how many bills we can file, and we're unlimited in the amount of money bills we can file. That means anything from tax credit, tax rebates, Anything dealing with the budget, we're unlimited in filing those, and those are short sessions. This year, because it will be an even year, we will be dealing only with, we will be in a general session, and it will be a long session. It will start in March, and it will go to mid-June.
So what's a typical day for you down in Baton Rouge?
Typical day for me. It's a very interesting day. I am usually up and moving in the Capitol about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I may have personal meetings with people from my district who are coming down to discuss important issues. About 9:30, I go into committee meeting. Give or take, I'm there until about 11:30 or 12, depending on how many bills we hear. I get about a 30 or 40-minute lunch, and at 1:30, I'm on the House floor debating bills. After I finish there, early on in session, I may finish there about 4 or 5. As it gets later into session, it may be 9 or 10 at night, but I still take meetings after session as well, because we have so many people who care about Northeast Louisiana that I never want to miss a chance to meet with them. And that's a typical day. We work all day. It seems like a lot of fun when you see us on TV, but the bottom line is, typical day for me is making sure that the people in Northeast Louisiana are taken care of. I want to invite you down. I want to invite you down as students to the legislative session. I can talk to you about it, and I know you'll grasp it because you're very smart students, but you really don't get the whole experience of the legislative session until you come down and spend a day with us. I want you to come down on a day where the topics are relevant to what you're doing in your classroom settings, and whether relevant to juvenile detention centers and things that will impact you or your friends or your family members. And take a part in it, begin to testify, study the bills. I invite you to come down and experience it. I can guarantee you this. Most of you will leave with a different view of the Louisiana Legislature, and most of you will begin your run, because at 18 you can become a House of Representative member or a Senate member.